Hey, English learners. Welcome back to Skillify English, the podcast where learning English actually feels like a conversation, not a classroom. I'm John.
And I'm Neha. And if you are listening to us for the first time, welcome to the family. We are so happy you found us.
Yes, and if you are a regular listener, you know the deal. We chat, we laugh, we learn real English together. No boring textbooks, no sleeping. Well, maybe a little sleeping. I do get tired.
John, you cannot sleep during your own podcast.
I know. I'm working on it.
Today's episode is a special one because we are doing something a little different. We are telling a story, a real, chaotic, slightly painful story about missing a flight.
And not just any flight, my flight.
Oh yes, this story is about John.
It is. It is not my proudest moment, but if my embarrassment helps you learn English, then okay, it was worth it. Maybe.
So John, before we jump into the lesson, tell us what happened. Set the scene.
Okay, so this was about 2 years ago. I had a flight from Delhi to London. Very early morning flight, 6:30 a.m., and I thought, easy. I will wake up at 4, get ready, go to the airport, no problem.
Famous last words.
Famous last words. So the night before, I was watching a football match. Just one match, I told myself. Just one.
Was it just one match?
It was 3 matches. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, so what happened the next morning?
I woke up at 5:45. My alarm had not gone off, or I had turned it off in my sleep. I honestly do not know which one, but either way, I woke up at 5:45 for a 6:30 flight.
That is not a lot of time.
It is the opposite of a lot of time. I grabbed my bag, which, by the way, I had not properly packed, and I ran downstairs to get a taxi.
And did the taxi come quickly?
No, there was a traffic jam, a massive, horrible, soul-crushing traffic jam. By the time we reached the airport, it was already 6:15.
Oh no.
I ran to the terminal. I found the check-in counter, and the woman at the counter looked at me very calmly and said, "Sir, check-in for this flight closed 20 minutes ago."
What a nightmare.
What a nightmare. And then I ran to security because I thought maybe, just maybe, I could still make it. But by the time I passed the security check, the gate was already closed. The plane had already left without me.
You must have been so stressed.
I was frantic, Neha, completely frantic. I just stood there at the gate, alone, with my half-packed bag, watching the empty boarding area. It was a very sad moment.
I feel for you, John. I really do. But also, this story is a perfect example of today's grammar lesson.
And this is why I suffer, so you can learn.
Okay, so let's talk about what makes this story interesting from an English point of view. When we describe a chain of events, especially when things went wrong, we often need to show which thing happened first and which thing happened second.
Right, and this is where many learners get confused. How do you tell the difference between the first event and the second event when you're using the past tense?
Exactly. For example, in my story, John's story, there are 2 events. First, the plane left. Second, John arrived at the gate. But both of these happened in the past.
So how do you show which one came first?
This is exactly the question, and the answer is the past perfect tense. So let's learn the past perfect tense. It sounds complicated, but I promise after this story, it will feel very natural.
The structure is simple. Had plus past participle. That's it. Had plus the third form of the verb.
So leave becomes had left. Pack becomes had packed. Go becomes had gone.
Now here's the key thing to understand. We use past perfect for the event that happened first, the earlier event, and we use past simple for the event that happened second, the later event.
Let me give you our signal sentence. This is the sentence you should write down. When I arrived at the gate, the plane had already left.
Did you hear that? Arrived is past simple because arriving at the gate was the second thing. Had left is past perfect because the plane leaving was the first thing.
The word already is like a little helper here. It tells you this thing was finished before the second thing happened.
Let me give you a few more examples from my disaster morning. Ready? By the time I woke up, my alarm had already gone off 3 times. When I reached the airport, the check-in counter had closed. I couldn't board because I hadn't packed my bag properly.
Notice hadn't, that is the negative form, had not. So I hadn't packed, he hadn't arrived, they hadn't eaten.
And here is a very useful phrase for sequencing, by the time. This phrase almost always signals that you are about to use past perfect.
By the time the taxi arrived, I had already missed check-in. By the time she read the message, he had already left.
See? By the time plus past simple, then past perfect for the earlier event. Very useful pair.
One more thing, the sequencing words we use with these stories. First, then, suddenly, after that, by the time, eventually, finally. These words are your best friends when you're telling a chain of events. Now, let's practice with a short role play. I will be a friend who is listening to John's story, and you, the listener, can practice answering with sympathy phrases.
Ready? I'll tell the story, Neha will react, and you practice the sympathy phrases at home, or even out loud right now. Don't be shy.
Sympathy phrases we'll use, what a nightmare. You must have been so stressed. Oh no, that's awful. What did you do?
So, I woke up late. My alarm had not gone off.
Oh no, that's awful. What did you do?
I grabbed my bag and ran downstairs, but there was a huge traffic jam.
You must have been so stressed.
I was frantic, and by the time I reached the terminal, the check-in had already closed.
What a nightmare.
And then I ran to the gate, but the plane had already left. I was standing there, exhausted, completely alone.
Oh no, what did you do next?
I went to the airline desk. The staff there was very kind, actually. They rebooked me on the next flight, but I had to wait 7 hours at the airport.
7 hours. How did you feel when you finally got on the new flight?
Honestly, relieved. Just relieved and a little hungry. I had not eaten breakfast.
Of course you hadn't. Okay, let's give our advanced learners something extra. There are 2 things that really take your past perfect usage to the next level.
Tip number 1. You don't always need to use past perfect if the sequence is already clear from the context. For example, I woke up. I turned off the alarm. I went back to sleep. Here, the sequence is obvious. You don't need past perfect for every sentence.
But when the sequence is not obvious, or when you want to emphasize the timing, that's when past perfect really shines.
Tip number 2. The word already is your best friend with past perfect. It adds emphasis. Compare these two. The plane had left. Correct. Neutral. The plane had already left. Correct. And much more emotional, much more dramatic.
Exactly. Already makes it feel worse, more hopeless, which honestly is perfect for storytelling.
And tip number 3, a bonus tip for very motivated learners. You can combine past perfect with conditional structures. For example, if I hadn't watched 3 football matches, I wouldn't have missed my flight. This is third conditional, which we will cover in a future episode. But notice the past perfect hadn't watched doing the heavy lifting there.
Beautiful. Future episode material right there. And now, the part of the show that many of you told us is your favorite. It is time for the word tour. We slow down, we take our time, we learn 8 key words from today's episode. Write these down or replay the section slowly.
Word number 1, traffic jam. A traffic jam is when many cars are stopped on the road and nobody can move. It is every commuter's worst enemy. Slowly. Traffic jam. Example, we were late because of a terrible traffic jam.
Word number 2, terminal. The terminal is the main building at an airport where passengers check in, wait, and board. Large airports have multiple terminals, Terminal 1, Terminal 2, and so on. Slowly. Terminal. Example, our flight departs from Terminal 3.
Word number 3, security check. The security check is the process at the airport where officers check your bag and your body for dangerous items before you enter the boarding area. Slowly. Security check. Example. The security check took 20 minutes because the line was very long.
Word number 4, gate. The gate is the specific door at the airport from which your plane departs. After you pass security, you go to your gate number and wait there to board. Slowly. Gate. Example. Please proceed to gate 14 for boarding.
Word number 5, delayed. When a flight is delayed, it means it is late. It did not depart at the scheduled time. Slowly. Delayed. Example. Our flight was delayed by 2 hours due to bad weather.
Word number 6, rebooked. To be rebooked means the airline has given you a new ticket on a different flight, usually after you missed your original one. Slowly. Rebooked. Example. Because I missed my flight, the airline rebooked me on the next available one.
Word number 7, frantic. Frantic is an adjective. It means extremely worried and panicked. You are moving or thinking very fast because something is going wrong. Slowly. Frantic. Example. I was completely frantic when I realized I had missed the check-in.
And word number 8, relieved. Relieved is an adjective. It describes the feeling when something stressful is finally over, or when you discover that things are going to be okay. Slowly. Relieved. Example. I was so relieved when the airline rebooked me on the next flight.
Excellent. 8 words, 8 new tools in your English vocabulary. Well done for staying with us through the word tour.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. What a journey, from John's alarm clock disaster all the way to the past perfect tense.
I want to say I did eventually get on a flight. I made it to London. I was exhausted, I smelled bad, and I had not eaten a proper meal in 9 hours. But I arrived. So there is a happy ending.
A very John-shaped happy ending.
Exactly. The best kind.
Before we say goodbye, we have a question for you, and we want you to answer in the comments. Here it is. Have you ever missed a flight, a train, or a bus? Or have you ever arrived somewhere and realized something important had already happened without you? Tell us your story in English. Use the past perfect if you can. By the time I arrived, when I got there, it had already... We'll read every single comment.
And if you want to practice even more, replay the grammar section, replay the word tour, and try to use one of today's words in a sentence today. Just one. That's enough.
Thank you so much for listening to Skillify English. If this episode helped you, please share it with one friend who is also learning English. It really, truly helps us grow.
And we'll see you, or rather, you will hear us, in the next episode. Until then, keep speaking, keep practicing, and keep going.
Even when you miss your flight.
Especially then.
Goodbye.